Good day, students. Today we will going to discuss another CSS lesson, and that is CSS Animation. Are you ready? So let's start. CSS Animation allows HTML element without using JavaScript or the Flash. In this lesson, you will learn how to use the keyframes, animation name, animation duration, animation delay, animation iteration count, and animation direction. But what is the CSS animation? An animation lets an element gradually change from one style to another. You can change as many CSS properties as you want and as many times as you want. To use CSS animation, you must first specify some keyframes from your animation. Keyframes hold what styles the element will have at certain times. Now, when we do animation in CSS, keyframe is very important. We apply animation with the use of keyframe, and we can apply keyframe in any element in our CSS, as many elements as you want and as many times as you want. Now let's proceed to the keyframes rule. When you specify CSS style in the keyframe rule, the animation will gradually change from the current style to the new style at certain times. To get an animation to work, you must bind the animation to an element. This is what I'm trying to say, that if you want to apply animation, you must bind it to an element. For the following example, bind the example animation to H2 element. The animation will last for 4 seconds. And it will gradually change the background color of our H2 from red going to yellow. Now, the first animation that we were going to do is we were going to change the background color of our H2, which is from red. We will change it into yellow. Now, this time, be ready with the Notepad++. We will going to do a first animation, the changing of background color from red to yellow. Now, let's proceed to our Notepad++. Okay, so as what you can see, we are now in our Notepad++. As what you can see, in our homepage HTML, we have a very simple coding, which we have only our HTML, our head, the title, which is CSS animation, the link for our external CSS, and of course, the body. Okay, so we are going to make a very simple CSS wherein I can show you how to work or how to make animation with the use of CSS. Now this time, we will going to write now our H2. We're going to apply it inside our body. For our H2, I'm going to name it as CSS Don't forget to put your end tag. Okay, now we have by the way, this will be our H1 and the very first thing that you can see in our homepage will be our H1, and that is the CSS animation. Don't forget to save your work, and this time let us style it using our CSS. Okay, now we have our H1 squiggy bracket, and with this we will going to change the width. This will be 300 px. Height which will be 50px. Background color. The background color of this will be red. Next, after this one, we will going to create an animation name. The animation name signifies the name of our animation. And for this, we will going to use example as our animation name. And lastly, we will going to apply the duration of our animation, and that is the property that is used is animation duration. Duration means this will tell us how many seconds will be the duration of our animation. And for this, the changing of red to yellow would only have 4 seconds. So 4s, and don't forget you look to it. Okay, now save your work. As what you can see, this is just a simple coding, and we still don't have any animation to our H1. It's because we still don't have our keyframe. Always remember that animation will work with the use of keyframe. Now, let's start. We have our at sign, keyframes, and the keyframes will going to ask what will be the code or what are the things that I will animate. And in this time, it will be asking the animation name. And for our animation name, we have example, which means that example will be the one to be animated. Okay, so the next will be our square bracket. And for this, we will going to write the animation, which is from our background color. Background color, which is the first is red. We will change it background color. It will change into yellow. Don't forget to put your squiggly bracket. Okay, so we have now our keyframe. This keyframe is our animation which changes our background color from red to color yellow. Let us now save our work. Check our work with our homepage. Make sure it is saved. Okay, so very good. Now this time, let us now check our work if it's working in our website. Okay, so let us just wait for our website to work. This take a little longer. Okay, so let us check first. Save and let us go back to our website. Okay, so here it is. Let's do now a refresh. Okay, so there you go. As what you can see, when we do a refresh with our work, from red, it will change into yellow. So that is our first animation, changing our background color from red to yellow. Okay, now let's proceed to the next one. Actually, we can also apply, or we can also change the color of our background with the use of percentage. Okay, so like for example, I want to have 4 colors. As what you can see, we have only 2 colors, from red to yellow. Now this time, how about if you decide to change it into 4 colors, wherein you have color red, color yellow, color blue, and color green. In that case, we will going to use percentage with our keyframe. Now to do that one, what we have to do is, okay, let us change this one from, we will change this one into 0%. The next will be 25%. Okay. Next, I'll just going to copy this. Control C, Control V, Control V. Okay. So this will be 50%. And after yellow, I want to have color blue. And lastly, we will change this one into 100%. This will change into color blue. Okay, let us now save our work and let us check if it's worked in our website. Okay, so let us now do a refresh. Okay, so it works. As what you can see, the background color now changes into 4 colors: the red, the yellow, the blue, and lastly, the green. Okay, so we can change the background color not only using from and to, but we can also use percentage. Okay, now this time, let's proceed on making this animation move. Okay, so the next thing, or the next activity that we will be doing, is that we will going to make our text or our element move in our website. Now let's go back to our Notepad++. This time, I will going to write here a paragraph. Okay, so our paragraph, this time we will make our element move. In this case, I will be using H2. H2 will be this element. Okay, now let's proceed to our CSS. Since we are now dealing with H2, so we are going to have a different coding for our H2. We are just going to use the same with our H1. So I'm just going to copy this. Okay. So for our H2, we will have the same for H1. And in this case, we were going to use now a different keyframe since we were going to make our animation move. So for our keyframe, right at keyframes, and for this time, since this H2 is now a different element, so we were going to change our animation name, a different animation name. Now for this, we're just going to use example 2. So keyframe example 2. Okay. Squiggy bracket. And with this, I'm just going to use the same color, wherein aside from it will move, it will at the same time change its color. Okay. So we're going to add another one. And this will be, it will go back into color. Now for the movement of our animation, the movement will be in a box motion. Okay, or in from red, it will go to the left, it will change into yellow, it will go down, it will change into blue, it will go to the right, it will change into green, and lastly it will go back to red. Okay, so for this, the percentage will change. 0, 25, 50, this will be 70, and lastly 100. Now, to make our animation move, all we have to do is right left, 0px, this is the movement, top 0px, next, don't forget to put your look to it. Next is in the yellow, left, 200 px, top 0 px, blue, 200 px, top 200 px. For the green, left, 0 px, top 200 px. And then lastly, it will go back to red, 0 px, as it forgot, left, 0 px, up 0 px. Okay, so that is the movement of our animation. Don't forget to save your work. Now this time, since we were going to make our animation move, so we were going to write position. For the position, this will be only relative. Okay. Now, since we are making this one move as well, we were going to write one property, and that property is animation iteration count. The animation iteration count will tell us how many times will be the movement of our animation. Now for this, I'm going to make this one only 3 times. So I'm just going to write 3 here. Okay. So again, to make our animation move, don't forget to write your position, and that should be relative. And the animation iteration, which signifies or tell us how many times will be the movement of our animation. Now for this, I'll just going to make this one 3 times. So save now our work. Same with our HTML. Save this. Make sure that you save your file. And then the next thing that we will going to do is we will going to go back to our website and check if our coding works. Okay, so let us do a refresh. Okay, so there you go. Okay, so what you can see, as our element changes its color, it also moves, okay, in a box motion. And there you go. As what you can see, it stopped. It's because the animation iteration only tells us that it should only move 3 times. Okay, but we can also change this, or if you want, you can make this one move forever, and that code will be infinite. Okay, so all you have to do is right here, if you want to move this one forever, so just write infinite. Okay, and then it will going to move in a box motion forever. Now in this case, I'll just going to change this one into 50. 50, 50, 50. Okay, save. And let's do a refresh. Okay, so there you go. Okay, now we can also delay our animation. Now to delay our animation, all we have to do is write a negative sign to our coding. Like for example, here in animation duration, diba, we have 4 seconds. We can apply delay by using a negative sign. Okay, so in negative sign, it means to say that there will be a delay, a 4 seconds delay before it starts its animation. So this is how it works. The animation delay function, if you want to delay before your visitor will open your website, there will be a delay, which is 4-second delay after it plays its animation. All we have to do is write a negative sign to give an animation delay. Okay, next, the next thing that we will going to do is we can also apply a direction to our animation. Okay, so what will be the direction? Direction tells us how does our animation move. Will it move in reverse? Will it move in alternate? Or will it move in alternate reverse? Okay, okay, so this is how to run our animation in reverse direction or alternate cycle. So we use the property animation direction. So we have here the following. The normal will, wherein it will just play forward, or this is the default. Reverse, which means the animation will play in a reverse direction backward. Alternate, which is the animation will play forward first and then backward. And alternate reverse, wherein it will play backward first and then forward. So let us apply this one, the direction, to our website. So let's go back to our Notepad++. Okay, so this time let us put animation direction. In this case, let's put this one as reverse. Save our work, and then let's go back to our website. Let's do a refresh. Okay, so as what you can see, it moves in a background motion. Okay, it do a reverse. Instead of going counterclockwise, now it is now moving clockwise. Okay, so we can also change it into alternate or alternate reverse. It depends upon you. Okay, now the next step that we will going to do is we will going to apply speed in our animation. And to apply speed, we will going to use, okay, an ID into our coding. So how to do that one? Let's go back to our Notepad++. Okay, actually, in applying speed, we have 5 ways to apply it. The first one is with the use of an is. An is specifies an animation with a slow start, then fast, and then end slowly. For the linear speed, it specifies an animation with the same speed from start up to end. With an east in, it specifies an animation with a slow start. For east out, it specifies an animation with a slow end. For east in and out, it specifies an animation with a slow start and a slow end. And for a cubic bezier, it lets you define your own values on how or what will be the speed of your animation. Now this time, let us apply this one to our animation. Let's go back to our Notepad++. And with this, let's start with our home page. For our home page, this time, I'm just going to put a bracket so that we could clearly see the speed of our animation. I'm just going to put bracket here, bracket. Okay, and this time I'm going to use H2. For our H2, following will speed our H2. Okay, so this time, let us now put our, this time, we will going to use H3. H3. This time, we will going to use the ID so that it has its own name. So we have here H3one. The name of this will be is H3. Next, this will be, the ID will be H32. The name of this will be linear. Next is H33. Name will be east in. Lastly, this will be H4, and the name will be east in, east out. Okay, to save our work, and then let's go back to our CSS. For our CSS, we will going to have the coding for our H3. It's because we are going to apply the speed for our H3 for the east linear, east in, and east out. Okay, so we have here, we'll be going to use the same. Okay, so just copy the width and the height and only until the background color. Okay, in this case, I'm going to add, and that will be, we're going to change the font weight. Font weight will be bold. At the same time, I'm going to, since this will move, so we will going to use position. For the position, this will be relative. And lastly, don't forget our animation. For our animation, we will going to put our animation name. For my name, this will be my move. This will move for 5 seconds, and it will move in infinite motion. Okay, so there you go. After this one, we will now going to apply what are the things that we will going to move or we will going to animate. So we have the ID. Since we're animating the ID, so we will start with the hashtag sign. So ID will work with the use of the hashtag. So for this one, we have H31 and animation timing function. This will be this. Next, H32 movement will be linear. Next, H33, the movement will be east in. And lastly, H34, the movement will be east in out. Okay, so we're done. Next, don't forget to have our keyframe. So this is very important because without keyframe, they will not going to move. Keyframes. And the name of our animation is My Move. Okay, so for our My Move, they were going to move from left zero px and they will move to the left 300 px. Okay, so save now our work. Check our homepage. Make sure it is saved. Okay, very good. Then let us check our website. Okay, so let's do a refresh. Okay, so this is not supposed to happen. Let us check. Maybe there's something wrong with our website, with our coding, I mean. Okay, so this one is supposed to be H3 because we have H2 here. This will be H3. And this will be H4. This one as well. There you go. No need to change our file name because it's just an IP. So the H4. Okay, so save now our work. Save us at the same time in our HTML. Okay, so let us check our website. Okay, so there you go. So this is the movement, or this is the speed of our animation for the east, for the linear, for the east in, and for the east in and out. Okay, so these are the things, or these are the simple things on how to make or how to animate our animation. The first one, let's recap. The first is changing the background color. The next one is changing the background color, and at the same time we apply movement. And lastly, we apply animation speed with the use of east, linear, east in, and east out. Now this time I want you to screen record your work. After you screen record, please submit it in our activity for today. That activity is equivalent for 20 points. Okay, so that ends our demonstration class about CSS animation. See you next time in our next CSS activity. Thank you and have a nice day, everyone.